And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition here of the 2025 Kung Fu Cup November Finals. I'm, of course, host Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the Pool Chats, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all. Buenos dias, bye. Buenos dias. To the second day here of Kung Fu Cup. Yesterday, of course, we were live with the first day. We were able to feature players like Rainer, players like Hero, able to feature the initial round of the tournament, and now we're here to continue the event and jump into day number 2. Let us switch things over and catch up on the bracket itself. Let's catch up on the bracket and figure out where we are and where we are headed. Okay, so from the top here, for those that are curious, this is an 8-player invitational. 8 players have been invited here. Kung Fu Cup at one point was a weekly tournament, at another point was a seasonal event. Like Kung Fu Cup has had its own iterations. Of course, was recently announced to return, especially thanks to the Chinese server returning to just coming back online. This is a part of the celebration of said Chinese server returning, and now we have these monthly events, and this is the, of course, November monthly for Kung Fu Cup. From the top, we did have a Classic took down Solar 2-1 to advance on to the upper bracket semis. We have a Hero, he did fall to Cure took down Hero 2-1 as well. We had a lot of ace matches yesterday. So we have Classic versus Cure. That's going to be later on tonight, by the way. That'll be later on tonight. We do have Rainer took down Gimme Ho 2-0. We saw a lot of mech. There from Gimme Ho. Rainer did shut him down. And we have ShoWTimE versus MaNa. That is going to be our first series of the broadcast. We're going to be jumping into that PvP. And very quickly, on the bottom half of the bracket, we had a Solar versus Hero. Hero barely did win that series 3-2 to advance on to the lower bracket second round. Here we go. So again, as a reminder, every single series is going to be casted, and the lower bracket matches are best of 5s. That's why Solar and Hero was a best of 5, and that's why the initial round of the bracket were best of 3s. So we have 3 series here before you tonight. We have ShoWTimE versus MaNa into Rainer, and then we'll be going over towards Classic versus Cure. So 3 series, 1 best of 3 and 2 best of 5s. As we're jumping into our first series, we're jumping into our PvP, ShoWTimE and MaNa. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Winter Madness. Jump into game 1. And again, it's been an intense week of StarCraft already here. Throughout the course of the weekend, we will be jumping into more and more of the Kung Fu Cup. Later on tonight, we have more Kung Fu Cup as well, bear that in mind. And we have, of course, the Tuna Cup tomorrow. So we're jumping on into our series and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness. We have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player. The blue Protoss, the German Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. Here we go. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Soundo in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing to Triumph for 60 months. That's a lot of months, Papi. That's a lot of months. Thank you so much. And also, God, Papi, share my. Thank you so much. Angry in the chat for the raid of 32. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. Dzień dobry, Papi. Dzień dobry. Welcome, one and all. Hey, just in time to actually feature a Polish player as well, as we are jumping into our initial round, our initial PvP. Oh boy. Now, I'll be honest, despite how popular PvP is when it comes to the online tournaments and online brackets, I actually haven't covered too much of it outside of like Max Packs, Hero, Classic facing off against each other. Guess what I'm getting at in the latest patch, I actually haven't seen much of ShoWTimE. So I'm curious to see how ShoWTimE, if it all, has adjusted. We'll see how we compare to each other here. ShoWTimE does veer off towards the right-hand side to hide what looks to be a fake proxy pylon. Bearing in mind, welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is a very large map in the map pool, very large map, long rush distance by ground, and plenty of bases, plenty of areas to hide some pylons. And there it is, pylon gets thrown down, and as we mentioned, it is a fake. It is a fake out. The goal here is that MaNa scouts with his probe, MaNa sees that a pylon is missing, and then MaNa overreacts. That's at least the hope. But as we can see, MaNa is staying at home. He does have a probe in the mineral line. He is looking up for the pylon, looking for the setup, and we can see that it's a fake out. We can see that ShoWTimE is not committing. As MaNa, he's aware that a pylon is nowhere to be found. ShoWTimE does have a reputation. You can see MaNa checking behind the mineral line as well. But ShoWTimE does have a reputation in the other matchups for being more of a defensive macro player. But I emphasize that that is specifically for the other matchups, because in PvP, ShoWTimE does cheese. He does cheese, he does proxy, he does all in. ShoWTimE, he does not hold back. So MaNa does not flinch though. He does not flinch. He does go for his own Nexus. He doesn't go for a robo beforehand. He does not play overly safe. MaNa believes that ShoWTimE is faking him out. So good call out of MaNa. You can see that MaNa is still scouting just in case. Is still scouting, checking the northern expansion locations. But again, as I mentioned before, Winter Madness is a massive map. There are just so many places to check. There's a very high chance that MaNa does not find the pylon. Yeah, he checks the nearby third and fourth locations, checks a little bit further out to the corner, and then pulls away. And we can see ShoWTimE does go for his delayed expansion. We do see a robo follow-up at a MaNa. So MaNa, he doesn't open robo, he goes expansion into a robo. You can see that he's a little bit scared of, say, proxy Stargate into Oracle into the main base. So he's a little bit paranoid. And with a robo opener, it's still going to be a relatively safe play here by MaNa. Does mean that he's going to be relinquishing map control. It does mean that he's going to be stuck at home. He has access to earlier immortal production, and he has access to a war prism to harass in some way, shape, or form. So we'll need that prism to try to harass, to get some damage done. Likewise, we have our hallucinations across the map. MaNa does scout the main. MaNa does confirm the Twilight Council. Is aware. Aware, and yep, there's that prison first. And again, this is a way just to apply some pressure. Ideally, it's to ferry these adepts into the main base. Remember, 2 adepts taking one-shot probes, so a handful of adepts can actually be quite impactful in PvP. I mean, in every matchup. So that's one thing we get called out. Yeah, a bit of miscontrol there from MaNa. He did check with his face, went for the face check, lost one adept, and now he can no longer one-shot. He has to warp in, and oh my god, he's committing actually. Jesus. He's rallying an immortal. He's moving out with everything. I assumed was just going to be harassed, but no, he moves out with his sentries, his stalkers. He's got a lot of force fields. And we do see ShoWTimE expanding. Yeah, while ShoWTimE expands, MaNa is moving in, shows his force fields. Yeah, zones away a couple of units, locks down a sentry, locks down a stalker, very nice. Picks up a couple of key units. From here, getting into the mid line, locks down some probes as well. And ShoWTimE, he's in trouble, he's in danger here, losing another sentry. You can see the micro potential, defensive link essentially here for MaNa. Ooh, for MaNa, he's going to lose a couple of sentries. 1, 2, 3 sentries going down. His prism is a little bit too far back. So MaNa bleeding out a lot of units here, but overall he can still overwhelm. He still has a massive army. I'll pick up. I'll pick up. Ooh, does lose one. Does lose one of the stalkers there. But he has high ground vision. Oof. Blink is complete now for ShoWTimE. He has Blink, but GG gets called. The natural is broken. ShoWTimE too greedy, and MaNa takes game number 1. Ooh, GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. MaNa does take lead in the series, wanting it back. Remember, ShoWTimE, he did try to fake a proxy pylon across the map, trying to force an overreaction. ShoWTimE behind this, he had scouted, he was just going for his third base, building up into a longer game. Meanwhile, MaNa, he was not stopping warp-ins, and with his warp prism, he committed with everything across the map. ShoWTimE missed the scout. I should say he missed the move out. He missed the move out, he missed the army. He did see the production. There was nothing really fancy when it came to the production, just 2 gateways and a robo. But ShoWTimE, he was unaware of the push. His pants were down. GG. GG, well played. MaNa does shut him down here, does punish ShoWTimE for being overly greedy. And now we're getting into game 2, and MaNa is 1 game away from knocking ShoWTimE down to the lower bracket. Una más, papi, una más. Let's go. Also, Esther missed in the chat. I appreciate the ducks. They're very cute. But here we go. This morning in the top left-hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss leading the series 1-0, representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sentinels. It is a ShoWTimE. Here we go. We have our PvP. And welcome to Title Citadel. Title Citadel is a very large map in the map pool. It has more spread out expansions. I should add that as well. It has more spread out third and fourth base locations. Has this area in between that can also abuse the more spread out expansion locations as well. So a more aggressive army can take advantage of someone just trying to be more defensive. We'll see how our players will adjust their approach. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Juggernaut Jason in the chat. God, thanks so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session as well. Whether laddering Zerg or Terran, hope you had a great time. Este Juggernaut Jason. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. For those who are just now tuning in, we are covering KungFu Cup. This is the KungFu Cup November finals. This is an 8-player invitational 5-day event, and we are casting day 2. We're casting day 2. This is our first series. We have our PvP. Later on in the broadcast, we're going to be featuring Cure. So if you're a Terran fan, we're going to be featuring Cure a little bit later on, and Rainer as Zerg a little bit later on as well. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE once again does go for the proxy pylon. As a reminder, last game it was a fake proxy pylon without any commitment. Based on this location, we could go for a Stargate. We could go Stargate into Oracle. Otherwise, we could commit into something more sinister here and something more dedicated. Show us what you got. Isn't too far away for a proxy robo. Waiting for the Cybercore. Cybercore is finishing up. Boom. And proxy robo. One base all in at ShoWTimE. We spoke about this at the beginning of the broadcast, at the beginning of the series, but ShoWTimE, he does cheese, he does all in. He has a reputation of being a very defensive macro player in other matchups, but specifically in PvP, ShoWTimE, he's an animal. He is an animal, does proxy, does mix things up, and we'll see if MaNa can get a read on what's going on. Now, MaNa did scout with his probe, MaNa did see that a pylon was missing, but remember, last game was a fake out. He might just believe it's a fake out again. MaNa does open up with the Stargate. You have a wall off here on top of the ramp. Now with the Stargate opener, MaNa, he will have some tools to defend. It's not ideal, but he can make a Phoenix, of course. Can make Void Rays. His Stalkers fan out, checking the third base locations. Oh, and barely does he keep going. Oh, he does. He does keep going. He does confirm. He gets eyes on the robo. He is fully aware. Instantly, a Phoenix is in production. Not an Oracle. The Phoenix is designed to shut down the War Prism, to hunt down the War Prism, to focus it down, and also to lift Immortals. So the Phoenix has a lot of utility. And again, thankfully, MaNa is fully aware of what's happening. MaNa is fully aware. Now what's scary is that ShoWTimE doesn't necessarily know that MaNa knows. The vision of the pylon is less than that of the vision of the Stalker. Here we go, MaNa does move out. He will miss the Prism though. Yeah, it does miss the War Prism. Just barely. He will depower the robo. At the same time, ShoWTimE diving straight into the main. He's going for it. He's going for the kill. Diving into the main base. Yeah, MaNa forced to recall. He's out of position, but he recalls in time. Phoenix as they hunt down the... Oh my god. The Prism's gonna be hunted down. The Unison shoot up, by the way. There's one Stalker. Yeah, sorry, two. Two Stalkers. The Prism goes down. Ay. Massive loss here for ShoWTimE. The Robo's depowered. The War Prism goes down. His army's stuck on the ground here, and MaNa just has to chill. Even getting a proxy pylon. Proxy pylon to reinforce across the map, but MaNa, he's just building up back at home and bringing together his Phoenixes. Phoenixes actually move out ahead of time. Now, ShoWTimE's ground army is still formidable, true, and ShoWTimE expands. MaNa confirms. MaNa confirms that there's an expansion. This should prompt MaNa to move out. But now he's killing the robo. Picks off a couple of probes. MaNa so far is looking very comfortable. Forcing a recall, still kills the Adept, so wasted recall there for ShoWTimE. And ShoWTimE does have the slightly faster expansion, but MaNa has the higher probe count, and on top of that, MaNa has the larger army as well. He has a lot of potential here with his Phoenixes. He can lift and pick off the Stalkers, for example, or even just go for the mineral line, waiting for more Warpins. Warpins are finishing up. And ShoWTimE is in danger. Stalkers, they do lock down 2 of the Stalkers. Then nicely done. Locks down 2 Stalkers. So MaNa does overextend. And ShoWTimE is holding. At this point, ShoWTimE is holding on. That was a massive pickup. Phoenix is ahead for the mineral line, but one Phoenix does barely get away. Taking a lot of damage. From here, the game continues. The game does continue. I still do give the edge to MaNa. MaNa behind this is going for a Robo, not a Twilight Council, so he's building up into Immortals. It's building up. Now the downside here is that MaNa will not have map control. Because he doesn't have Blink of his own, it means he's going to be stuck at home. He's going to be stuck at home, stuck turtling, stuck defending. ShoWTimE will have a lot of micro potential with his Blink and may even turn this into an all-in. But now, oh, he does pull away in time. Once again, just getting 2 more probes. Immortals are amassing. And really, eyes are on ShoWTimE. Checking his vision, ShoWTimE, he is aware. He saw the Robo. He knows there's a Robo follow-up. ShoWTimE should be claiming a faster third base. We should be seeing a faster third base. ShoWTimE should have map control once Blink finishes, so we can get a faster expansion, build up a better economy, and build up a larger gateway composition. Whereas MaNa should have a smaller composition with a more high-tech kind of army. With Phoenixes, with Immortals. There we go, now ShoWTimE expands. So far the game is slowing down after an intense start. Very intense start. ShoWTimE is being active and he has to be careful here. He is spotted. ShoWTimE moves out. Meanwhile, MaNa, he's actually exposed back at home. MaNa checks for a third base. He's got 2 Immortals, that's true, but he doesn't really have much buffer. If ShoWTimE wanted to, he could just dive on the Immortals. He could 3-shot. I think it would be 3-shot. Uh-oh. But last ShoWTimE, he does not go up the ramp, does not check the third base. There was a missed opportunity there. ShoWTimE pulls away. Okay. Does pull away. Now we see that MaNa's cutting, I say cutting corners, he's kind of rushing and skipping some tech parts here. He's going straight into +1 in charge, into Archon production, so it's going to be charge or Archon Immortal. ShoWTimE is doing something similar, also going into Archons, +1, charge already done for ShoWTimE as well. So MaNa, he's catching up. He's catching up in terms of army, of the quality of the army. Catching up with those upgrades. And as we build up in towards the mid game, I'm going to be favoring MaNa's overall composition. They're going to be very similar, except MaNa's going to have no Stalkers, but he's going to have extra Immortals instead. ShoWTimE likewise will have more Immortals and more Stalkers and no Immortals. ShoWTimE still has more micro potential, and he can still pick away at the army. He can poke in, poke out. But in a head-on fight, it's going to be a heavy Immortal count here for MaNa. He's getting his 4th Immortal. His upgrades are done. Charge is complete. And we're just waiting for the War Prison. Once the prison finishes, then MaNa can move out. Now, when it comes to the engagement, a lot of it comes down to the fight itself. It comes down to the unit control. You have to be so careful with these Zealots. The Zealots are quite fragile, and if you A-move in, the Zealots will just evaporate. So ideally, you hold position micro, you pull back the Zealots until the Archons are dealt with. Phoenixes are being thrown away. I mean, this is a really good use of Phoenixes. To be honest, in the main fight, these Phoenixes won't really do much. Remember, ShoWTimE doesn't have any Immortals, and the Archons themselves are going to be great at zoning away the Phoenixes and punching and then kind of clumping. 15. Oh my god, 15 probes! 15 probes go down, well worth it for MaNa. Cripples the economy. Ay, ay, ay. And because MaNa's doing so much economic damage, and because he's getting a much faster fourth base, the reality is MaNa does not have to push. Like, MaNa can just chill and max. Just calm down, look to max out. There's nothing pressuring MaNa to be active. Not anymore. As he's up to 4, soon to be 5 Immortals. MaNa, okay. Does decide to move out here, so be careful. As I mentioned before, you don't want to just throw away your Zealots. MaNa's army gets spotted. ShoWTimE attempting to flank. The armies, they do pass by each other. MaNa pushing up the ramp. A little bit split up though. Yeah, a bit of miss army control. Yeah, MaNa's out of position. Prism goes down and MaNa has to pull out. He has to get the hell out of here. Again, MaNa only fighting with half his army. Going for the warp in. Stalkers able to blink, they deny the warp in. A nice blink. The Immortals are too far behind. And they get a messy fight here from MaNa. Does lift whatever he can. Prism should be sniped. But there are so many more and more Archons here. Yeah, so many Archons. ShoWTimE, he breaks on through. Again, these 4 Immortals for half the fight weren't doing anything. They just weren't doing anything. MaNa was out of position. Zealots rally in. They should be dealt with. And ShoWTimE should come out on top here. He cleans up all the Zealots, gets on top of the Archons. Like, MaNa, he had the army. He just wasn't able to fight all at once. Gets a miscontrol. And despite the amazing start that MaNa had, it looks like he's going to be losing his force. He's going to lose his 4th base, and may even lose more than that from here. Again, este MaNa. Just one bad fight is all it takes. ShoWTimE moving in. Breaks through the Zealot. Shield barriers are not ready. And MaNa, he should not be able to hold on here. Should not be able to hold. Archon gets into the mineral line. 15 probes going to be going down. The Prism is going to survive. And there, how many? There's 7 Archons. The mass Archon, baby. GG gets called. ShoWTimE ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, MaNa had an amazing start to the game. He was ahead, he was killing probes, he was denying bases, he was able to build up and take up into a superior army as well. But we spoke about it as it all came down to that final fight. Once again, MaNa did not have to push out, but he did decide to. But it wasn't just that, it was also the fact that he had 4 to 5 Immortals that were not actually a part of the fight. It looks like there was a bit of mispathing. It looks like MaNa tried to rotate towards the side of the 4th base for ShoWTimE, but half the army did rally off and veer off towards the top side into a different attack path, and they were isolated. They were on their own. Then the fight occurred, of course, and all those Immortals, for half the fight, they weren't even engaged. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 3, the ace match. We'll see how this story ends as we're loading into 10,000 feet. Let's go. Let us go. As we are loading into the ace match. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Liquid. It is MaNa. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, representing Sentinels from the land of Germany. It is ShoWTimE. We go. So we've made it here to the final game of the series. We've made it to the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on 10,000 feet. So this is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. Shorter rush distance by ground, but not by too much, I will say. It isn't the smallest map by any means, but does favor aggression nonetheless. And we'll see what our players do decide to go for this time. Remember, last game was even ShoWTimE having a failed proxy as well. Like, again, there was so much going right for MaNa last game. Did fumble towards the end. So I'm just trying to fix up the title. We're good. We are good. Once again, we do see. Once again, we do see ShoWTimE going for a proxy. Remember, ShoWTimE is going for a proxy pylon every game so far in this series. Game 1, it was a fake out. Game 2 was real. Game 3, fake out, but this time he gets scouted. I mean, I'm sure a lot of this comes down to the fact that ShoWTimE has been very, very consistent when it comes to his proxy pylons in this series. So MaNa does confirm that it is not real. Meanwhile, MaNa going for his own fake proxy pylon. Let's go. But he doesn't let him scout. So unfortunately, there's a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, it's really cool that MaNa went for his own pylon hidden, but he makes sure that ShoWTimE doesn't even get into the main, so ShoWTimE doesn't know that a pylon is hidden. So in the end, it looks like this pylon, this proxy setup here for MaNa shouldn't really come into play. That's moving out, and I believe MaNa shoots first. Yeah, MaNa does barely shoot first. It's close. Trade 1-on-1. Again, MaNa did have a better trade. ShoWTimE is going to get out of here. ShoWTimE saves his pylon. ShoWTimE has his own faster expansion as well, as MaNa was forced to delay his own Nexus. And behind this, we do have his ShoWTimE going for his Twilight Council. So we're getting into Twilight Council, getting into Blink. Meanwhile, MaNa has yet to... has gone for a Robo Opener himself. Very safe play out of MaNa. Once again, very safe play. So just like last game, the goal for MaNa should just be to turtle up. Should be to turtle up, to build up his immortal count, and to go for a later push. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE will have map control and has more potential to harass. So Hallucination moves in, confirms the Twilight Council is aware. Oh, we're going for an early push. Okay, never mind. I mean, the Immortal first should have been a tell, but the Hallucination spots this. MaNa's at least going to kill the pylon, but I believe based on this War Prism that he intends to commit even harder. Prism is on the way. ShoWTimE has a shield battery. Second pylon. Battery goes down. Now, what's important about this timing is that MaNa has the Immortal. ShoWTimE does not have Blink. Blink is still not yet done. It's being chronoed as we speak, but I believe the initial stages of the fight will occur without any Blink control. I've just got plenty of force fields. MaNa picks in. Locks down a couple of Stalkers. Gets one. Not even. Okay, gets a Sentry. And pulls away. And MaNa, he does have more force fields. Blink is almost done. 10 seconds. Yeah, 10 more seconds. One Sentry, 2 Sentries go down. Miscontrol there by MaNa. Sentries do rally away. And ends up trading. Yeah, he does end up trading here. Ooh, Blink is done, dives on the Prism, and MaNa, he will lose everything. The boys are being pulled. And MaNa, he overextended, stuck around too long. And with Blink finishing MaNa, he lost everything. The Immortal, the War Prism, the Sentries, and even most of the Adepts. And now ShoWTimE can counterattack. Yeah, it's go time. He's counterattacking behind this, he can expand. MaNa's in a rough position. Oh, all in. Okay, so he's going for an Immortal Adept all in. MaNa, he knows he's behind. Now, the best chance that MaNa has here is that ShoWTimE is overly greedy. He's overly greedy. And MaNa can pop off. Basically, Glaive Adepts, they do not scale well into a longer game, but they do a great job when it comes to buffering for Immortals early on. So Mass Adept is going to be the meat shield. It's also an alternate answer to Charge, which should be the natural progression point for ShoWTimE. And again, MaNa's hope here is that ShoWTimE he saturates his third base, he techs up, he gets forges, he gets the simple archives. Oh no! MaNa! Okay. Oh Jesus, that was so close. ShoWTimE was rallying over. He was rotating. Doesn't get the prism. Oh my god. MaNa threading the needle. He slips by, just barely. Jesus. ShoWTimE, he may still just go for the dive here. There's not really much to protect the Immortals. There's not much to protect. MaNa gets into the mineral line, denies mining at the third base, dropping into the main. There's a recall. That's a Stalker kill. There's a recall back home. 5, 6 probes going down. Not bad. 7 probes even. 7 probes catching out some Stalkers. But MaNa doesn't quite commit. Not yet. He's still building up his army. MaNa supply blocked. Now is not the time. That is brutal. So unfortunate supply block here for MaNa. He's going to expand as a result. Oh boy. Like, MaNa did kill 7 probes, but he's still behind. Like, he's still behind economically. Warping in more adepts. ShoWTimE. Oh, does pick in. And MaNa's going to try to defend here with a bare minimum. Defend with Immortals and Sentries. Here comes a counterattack. At the same time, ShoWTimE looking to dive into the main. He has the Observer. Adepts stay shade in. Ooh, Stalkers getting caught out. Nice figures here by MaNa. Does catch 2 Stalkers. Oh, he has to be careful. Does pull away. Shades out of the third. Way shades out. MaNa gets caught. We'll lose 1 Immortal. MaNa a little bit inattentive there. Wasn't able to save it. And ShoWTimE, he's going for the main. And do we commit to the base trade? I believe recall's on cooldown. It is. Yeah, recall's on cooldown. Dives into the main base. MaNa, he has to counterattack. It's the only way. Gateway's getting depowered. And he's pushing into 3 shield batteries. And ShoWTimE just gives it up. Very nice force fields. ShoWTimE gives up the expansion. Gives up the low ground. Oh. At the same time, all the gateways are getting depowered, and we're not able to warp in across the map, but MaNa has a massive bank. He has the bank, a brutal choke point as well, not going to be easy to push up into. MaNa, he has to rotate, but still his natural's on fire. And we can't afford ninja bases. Oh, there's the recall. There's the recall back home. Shield barriers are finishing up in time, and there are so many Stalkers here. Jesus. An insane stalking out. The boys are being pulled. Thanks on forward, and ShoWTimE should clean this up. He should just completely clean this up. He can one-shot the Immortals. GG, well played, and ShoWTimE will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the next round. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ShoWTimE will claim this series. Again, I can see a world where MaNa could have toyed. Like, MaNa, game 2 was so heavily in favor of MaNa until that final fight. Here, coming into game 3, we saw that ShoWTimE was a lot more comfortable. He was able to punish and shut down the initial Immortal push. I'm referring to the first time that MaNa moved out with his very first Immortal. He did lose it immediately. He lost the first Immortal, he lost momentum. He was forced into an all-in that was also heavily delayed as well. The Prism was sniped initially, if you recall, with that first push. Like, there was just so much there that just crumbled around MaNa. Even when it came to the base trade, he was late to the base trade as well. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to ShoWTimE. Shout out to MaNa for making a series out of it. And with that, we are going to be following ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE into his next series. Oh boy. It is going to be ShoWTimE versus who? ShoWTimE versus Raynor. Oh boy.